This morning, the Coast Guard will offload approximately 11,300 pounds of cocaine and 4,000 pounds of marijuana in San Diego, worth over $223 million. These drugs were seized in international waters of the Eastern Pacific Ocean and represent 8 interdictions of suspected drug smuggling vessels between February and March of 2022. These interdictions are the result of joint partnerships between the Coast Guard cutter Kimball, the Coast Guard cutter Laguerre, the Coast Guard cutter Spencer, and the Canadian Coast Guard Her Majesty Canadian ship Yellowknife. In just a moment, Vice Admiral McAllister, the Coast Guard Pacific Area Commander, U.S. Attorney Randy Grossman, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of California, and Captain Thomas D'Arcy, Commanding Officer of Coast Guard cutter Kimball, will each give brief remarks and will then be available for questions afterward. Their biographies with the correct spelling and titles are in your press kits. If you do not receive one, please raise your hand and we will provide one. As a ground rule, I ask that we limit to 2 to 3 questions per person so that all members may ask questions. Remarks will last approximately 10 to 15 minutes. At this time, I would like to introduce Coast Guard Vice Admiral Michael McAllister, the Coast Guard Pacific Area Commander.
Well, hey, good morning, and thank you for joining us today. Let me just say hello to a few folks. I know the San Diego Mayor, Todd Gloria, wanted to join us here today, but he had a conflict and sends his regards. As was mentioned, we have U.S. Attorney for Southern District of California, Randy Grossman, and a great partner. I do want to say hello to Ms. Karen Sleeman, Consulate of Canada in San Diego, and Staff Sergeant Stephen McQueen from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Welcome. And I believe we have some representatives from the office of Congressman Scott Peters here today. It is a good day to be in San Diego and witness the offload of over 11,000 pounds of cocaine and a total of more than 15,000 pounds of illegal drugs. And to be clear, this offload of drugs with a street value of more than $223 million is the result of a team effort. And we really have leveraged our international and interagency partnerships to form an effective team that counters and removes illicit drugs that are bound for the U.S. and counters transnational criminal networks. And this remains very important work for our nation. Illicit drugs cost our country nearly $200 billion every year in crime, health, safety, and lost productivity. But it's not just about keeping drugs off the streets of our country. Our combined operations provide important contributions to regional stability in Central and South America, with very broad security implications all along our southwest border. We in the Coast Guard are very fortunate to have support from Congress and the administration to give your Coast Guard the tools we need to carry out our important missions, including our newest ships like National Security Cutter, the Kimball, that you see behind me. These are extremely capable multi-mission assets operated by well-trained and professional crews. In this case, the Kimball deployed from Hawaii, her home port, and this was the cutter's first counter-narcotics mission. And we're leveraging technology, including an advanced unmanned aerial system called Scan Eagle, which contributes to what we call maritime domain awareness and really is a game changer in hunting drug-laden vessels on the high seas. These capabilities are not only valuable in countering the drug trade, but we also use them to protect U.S. Arctic waters, respond to disasters impacting our neighbors and allies, working together with other military services to defend our nation's interests, and preventing illegal fishing in U.S. waters and literally around the globe. And I'm proud to say we in the Coast Guard look forward to the delivery of our first 2 of a new class of ships, the offshore patrol cutters, which will be home ported in the Los Angeles, Long Beach area within the next 2 years. In terms of partnerships, I do want to extend a special thank you today to our partners in law enforcement, including our Department of Homeland Security partners here today, including CBP, Homeland Security Investigations, U.S. Border Patrol, and those outside, including Drug Enforcement Agency and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It really does take a whole of government effort to extend U.S. borders to places a justice team that really delivers the cycle of justice feedback loop. But let me end talking a little bit about Coast Guard people like the crew of the Coast Guard cutter Kimball. Our crews have weathered 2 years through this pandemic and have continued to deliver mission success like we see here today, but it has not been easy. Despite all of the challenges of quarantines, no foreign port calls, concerns for friends and family at home, our cutter crews have stayed on mission. And our Coast Guard families.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vice Admiral McAllister. Good morning. On behalf of the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of California, I am honored to join you and our guests in welcoming the Kimball and its crew to San Diego and successfully prosecute the persons that are responsible for these crimes. These cases are a top priority for the Department of Justice and for the United States Attorney's Office. The combined and closely coordinated efforts between the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Coast Guard, and our federal law enforcement partners is critical to dismantling transnational criminal organizations. Our partnerships have allowed us to target and prosecute successfully all levels of the drug distribution network. This includes cocaine sources of supply, lab owners, brokers, refuelers, crew members, and transportation coordinators. Targets of a criminal organization in Guatemala. In addition, the Department of State announced a $10 million reward for the alleged kingpin, and the Department of Treasury issued sanctions on the organization and several of its associates. This is a good example of why the brave work of the Coast Guard is not done in a vacuum. Your seizures further important investigations and prosecutions by the Department of Justice that are used to target leaders and organizers of the criminal activity well beyond the drugs and the other defendants interdicted on the high seas. This interdiction should serve a warning to all who are involved in the dangerous and illegal drug trafficking business. You cannot hide your crimes on the high seas. Whether you are a kingpin or a crew member, you are on our radar, and it's just a matter of time before you are caught and brought to justice. In conclusion, I would like to congratulate the brave men and women of the Kimball on a successful inaugural Eastern Pacific Patrol. You have truly lived up to your motto to lead, train, and serve. On behalf of the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of California and all federal law enforcement throughout our district, thank you for your efforts, for your sacrifices, and dedication to your vital mission. It's now my pleasure to introduce our Captain Darcy.
Thank you, Admiral McAllister, U.S. Attorney General, U.S. Attorney Grossman, distinguished guests, and members of the press. Good morning. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on behalf of my talented shipmates who serve aboard Coast Guard cutter Kimball. Today marks the completion of Kimball's first ever counter-drug patrol since being commissioned, and I'm extremely proud of the crew's hard work to make this deployment productive. They trained and operated as true professionals. It was a pleasure to see them in action. I know the crew found the past month's work to be incredibly valuable as they contributed to keeping cities like beautiful San Diego safer by countering the flow of illegal drugs in our communities. Cutter Kimball is homeported in Honolulu, Hawaii, so we bring a warm aloha to San Diego. We patrol all over the Pacific, including in the eastern portions between South and Central America, where criminal networks routinely move illegal narcotics to the north. After patrolling those waters, I can tell you it's a vast open ocean area that smugglers try to take advantage of. These traffickers often operate hundreds of miles off coast, usually moving in fast, low-profile vessels that are difficult to detect. In order to find and interdict those smugglers, Kimball employs a robust command and control suite and we leverage advanced technology, intelligence, and seakeeping ability that help us position our law enforcement teams where they can matter most. We also deploy with tools such as helicopters designed to interdict, and with surveillance drones that help us expand our maritime domain awareness. And we also have over-the-horizon boats that we launch to catch and board vessels that attempt to evade law enforcement. It takes a skillful and rehearsed crew to conduct a successful drug bust on the high seas. And Kimball's crew demonstrated that with teamwork and the right tools, we were able to remove over $100 million of cocaine, preventing it from crossing our borders and removing a source of revenue from those criminal networks. But more important than Kimball's individual success, on this patrol, we also coordinated with key interagency and international partners. For example, a Customs and Border Patrol plane that was providing maritime surveillance also airdropped to Kimball an essential part that kept our helicopter operational. We also operated closely with the Canadian Maritime Coastal Defense vessel Yellowknife, who with their deployed U.S. Coast Guard law enforcement detachment assisted Kimball on 2 occasions. I want to thank those entities who helped Kimball achieve our mission success. Counter-drug operations require close daily coordination between the Departments of Homeland Security, Justice, and Defense. Our offload of contraband today represents the work of several ships and is a testament to the positive teamwork between U.S. agencies and our partner nations, all focused on countering the traffickers who undermine our collective security. It's wonderful to be here in San Diego, a great maritime city. I appreciate the recognition of my shipmates' hard work. Kimball looks forward to remaining here in San Diego over the next couple weeks while we conduct training with the U.S. Navy and Coast Guard experts that are stationed here. Thank you for your support, and as always, Semper Paratus.
Thank you, Admiral McAllister, U.S. Attorney Grossman, and Captain DRC for your remarks. I will now open it up to questions at this time. I'm sorry. The question was, were any arrests made? Captain DRC, would you like to discuss that? Were any arrests made?
So at sea, when we encounter smugglers, we bring them on as detainees and they're transferred ashore for further prosecuting. So we had 15 members that were brought ashore and transferred to the appropriate agencies as part of this deployment.
Sure, thank you for the question. The question was on the Scan Eagle technology and how it was utilized. Captain DRC, I feel like you would be great for that.
So unmanned aerial surveillance is a game changer for what we do at sea. We can launch it, get eyes on a potential target of interest well in advance of having to actually interact with it. So it gives us the chance to have more reaction time, more planning. That coordinated with a helicopter and over-the-horizon boats really makes a difference. It brings down risk for everybody involved. We can actually observe the events as they unfold, provide that reassurance to our boarding teams, and really kind of understand the scenario before we even engage with it. So it's a major change. Thank you. So no, we've deployed in other missions with the UAS on board. For example, up in Alaska, we've used it to help with fishing boat detection and boardings, looking for illegal fishing in Oceania and the Western Pacific. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Do we have any additional questions at this time? Thank you all for your time this morning for our contraband offload, and the representatives will be available for additional questions after this time. Thank you.